You see, the idea behind TIL Congress is all about creating a new ecosystem of thought leadership. The whole idea is that Indian economy is going to become $5 trillion economy, and in years to come, if you go by various kinds of global studies, Indian economy will be third or fourth largest economy in the world. The idea is to Indian thoughts also must have an edge over the global thoughts, or perhaps steer the global thought along the line in terms of various fields, economic field, fiscal field, monetary policy side, various kinds of dimension, all aspects of global thought leadership I am talking about. The whole idea is to groom a different kind of culture, and this time we have taken a giant step forward by organizing 5 technical sessions. The first one is of course very obvious that the COVID-19 is battering the global economy in a big way, and the climate change has come, rather it was always there, but incidentally the ugly face of the climate change we are able to see now in various ways in terms of epic disasters striking humanity in a big way. So the whole concept is that the first technical session we are going to have is that COVID-19 and climate change, how these twin threats are gobbling up the global economic growth, and what best we can do collectively mankind could do to repair the job. So the whole idea is that we have some global speakers here. Some of those thought leaders we have invited this time, and they are joining us, and we will have a very stimulating session on these 2 issues. Another session which we have, as all of us know, that the GST is one of the biggest reforms we have done since 1947 on the indirect tax side. And the GST is of course stabilizing now. It is still an evolving indirect tax system. So the whole idea is that some of the international experiences culled by different experts from various different countries, perhaps some of those experiences could be equally relevant for us in India, and that is why we have some of those global speakers who are going to talk about it, and we will deliberate and see how best the Indian GST could perhaps be legged up, and could be mid-course correction could be carried out. So that is another thought. Another area where we are looking at is the direct tax side. We have domestic income tax, where the process of the digitalization of transactions in a big way, or rather various kinds of economic activities, thanks to the Prime Minister, where we have this Digital India the mission, and it has done a wonderful job. And what has really spurred this particular movement and this particular phenomenon is of course the COVID-19, because of this work from home and various kinds of online services, etc. So we are trying to look at digitalization and the growing share of TDS in overall income tax collections, and the whole idea is that apparently there is no cost to the government for collection of the major chunk of the revenue on direct tax side. So the whole concept or the debate we are going to have it is that whether a time has come where some sort of SOPs or incentives could be given to TDS deductors. So there we have quite a few distinguished speakers who are going to deliberate and give us a some sort of new insight into it, which could be useful for the policymakers. And then we have another session. Of course, we are trying to look at international taxation in a big way, and looking at international taxation, the 2 issues which have been agitating the mind of most of the fiscal experts and also the political leadership worldwide. Of course, one is that the corporate tax side, the global minimum tax, and the other one is of course the digital tax, which has been a bone of contention for most of the market jurisdiction and tax jurisdiction worldwide, where some of the tech companies, the global tech companies, apparently operating through tax haven, etc. So finally we had the global consensus on this issue, where OECD is going to come out with some sort of guidelines, and we will have probably we will see some of the glimpses of it, the changes perhaps even in the Union budget, in the coming Union budget. So these 2 topics, where global taxation and digital tax, some global experts are going to be there who are going to take a look at it and give us a new perspective and demystify the whole concept. And then we will finally have one session on the customs side, because international trade is perhaps, it is one of the most powerful engines of growth for most of the emerging economies, and there we are trying to look at international trade. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has badly disrupted the global supply chain, and looking at the supply chain, naturally I am talking about international trade. So basically looking at disruption of the international trade, and international trade basically means if it is seamless, naturally the custom is the facilitator. So we are trying to look at the challenges, the future of international trade and customs, and the future challenges, what challenges lie ahead. So we will have we have very distinguished speakers, including the Secretary General of the World Customs Organization, who is going to talk about all those challenges, and some of the domestic experts we have. So we are, if you look at the whole spectrum of these 5 technical sessions, we will have very, very interesting and very, very insightful technical sessions, which will give us, a lot of ideas, and not only to the policy makers and law enforcers, but also for the trade industry.